I didn't know if this was live or not. So now it is. I'm not sure if you guys could hear the music and all the stuff, but how is everybody feeling? How you doing this morning? I'm feeling good. We're right up there near that potential breakout spot. Did we reform and really make a stronger pennant? Are we going higher? Where are we looking? Got some talk about India today. India is one of the largest crypto adoption spots in the world. We got to watch what's going on over there. Hope you're all feeling well this morning. Sorry about the dropping the first word there a second ago. I wasn't sure if I was live or not. Alter Ego says his son is turning 3 tomorrow. Happy birthday to your son. Hope he has a wonderful birthday. Objectively, reality objectively says good morning all. Good morning to you too. Good morning to maybe a Band-Aid, Alter Ego, Alexander G. We got Rafiq Ghafoor in the house, John 316. Alex Green, Red Elephant, the crew's in the house. I think it's time for roll call. We got Quarter Crawler kicking it off with all the lab coats. Everybody drop your lab coats in the chat. What are you looking at? Do you think we're going to break out and touch that upper ascending level of resistance above us up there at the 37.8, 38? Or do you think we're going to have a small liquidity grab further up and then break back down? Let me know what you're thinking. Shout out to all the mods here. Big love to each and every one of you. We got Alexandra G, Crimson Caravan. Who are all the other mods in the room right now? That's all I'm seeing. Alex Green, of course. And then shout out to everybody else that's here. Red Elephant, maybe a Band-Aid, Alter Ego, Rafiq Ghafoor, John 316. Quarter Crawler, how you doing? Peter Provost, what's up? Nico, Granny's Garden, everybody. We are on every day at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be doing, I had to free up some time for all those BitLab members. We have a huge initiative we're going to be pushing in the Discord. I'm going to be doing some daily, almost daily, not every day, but multiple times throughout the week. We'll be doing live streams just for BitLab members in the Discord. So get involved in the Discord. That's where we're going to be doing a lot more TA, a lot more breaking down of different thoughts of what's going on in the market. We're still going to be doing these live streams here on YouTube, but we're just going to be being more active and giving a little bit more depth for all those BitLab members. Big love to every one of you. Brad Guidell in the house. What's up, my friend? How you doing? Quarter Crawler, what's up, my friend? Do you think we are in a bull market right now, or do you think this is just a liquidity grab and we're going to be pushing back down before the halving? Let me know your thoughts. Ben Simmons says he's holding Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, AVAX, DOT, Arbitrum, and ICP. Let's do a bunch of TA on many of those today. What else are you guys holding? If you have, what's your top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? What's your top 7 coins? If you're holding 7, what are the top 7 coins you're holding? What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Welcome to the BitLab Academy daily stream. My name is Kellam. Welcome to the show. I hope you're all having an absolutely wonderful morning. And if not, I hope we can bring a little bit of light into your day, give you a bit of a roadmap of what we should be looking at the market today. Also, some big considerations about what's going on not only in the US, we got to talk about what's going on in India. We got to talk about what's going on in Korea. We got to talk about what's going on in these other areas of the world that are also huge components of driving this market. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, we're going to break all that down. We're going to be looking at TA on many of your top coins. Again, I'm going to be doing, the reason we had to cut down the number and how long we were doing live streams on the YouTube BitLab front is we want to make sure that we're giving as much value as possible to the BitLab Academy members within the Academy. Starting next week, I'm going to be doing multiple streams throughout the week only for BitLab members. Of course, we will still be doing the 10 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Eastern time live stream here on YouTube and the other socials. But Within the Academy is where we're going to be going a little bit deeper, doing a little bit more on request TA, breaking down those alts, looking, basically just breaking more stuff down, giving more value. So make sure you get into BitLab Academy. If you have not yet, I just want to say I appreciate every day, each one of you coming in here, being with us here in the BitLab Academy stream. If this is your first time, I can guarantee you it is not going to be your, sorry about that. It's not going to be your last time. Now, what do I want to talk about today? First off, if you haven't yet, check out bitlabacademy.com. But where I want to start today, first off, throw 1 in chat if the audio, visual, everything is looking good, feeling good, sounding good. And throw a 2 in chat if you're bullish. Throw a 3 in chat if you think we're due in the next few days for a correction back down. I'm curious to see what you guys are thinking. I see we got everybody in the house. We got Cade Pulliam, Tenacious B, Granny's Garden, Ty Keller 6, Quarter Crawler, Alter Ego, Cade Pulliam, Objectively, Real Reality, Objectively, Rafiq Gafour, Alexander G. We got everybody in the house. Tenacious B, Alex Green, Ben Simmons. How y'all doing? Now, what do we want to talk about today? We want to talk about this chart right here. Bitcoin, of course, driving the engagement on the market. Give me 1 second. I got to tilt up the camera. Boom, boom. There we go. My head was just getting clipped off there. This chart right here, this is known as a line chart. Cuts out quite a bit of the noise rather than looking here at the candles with all the wicks, or you can also look over here at the Heikin-Ashi candles, which gives you a good determination of the trend you're in. But looking here at the line chart, just look at how this has been playing out. We got this nice, essentially parallel channel where we have the upper level of resistance, lower level of support. And of course, we had a deviation here. But why did we not connect these? Well, because we have these lows connecting to this rejection, this rejection, this rejection. Now, we did not quite get up to that. But then look at this. When we push up, we find support, we come back up, a little bit of deviation, noise right around here. But then when this pushes up again, look at this rejection right here on this line chart. Similarly, we have support, and then all the way over here. Let's actually adjust this a little bit. Is this a ray? There we go. There we go. Support all the way through. And then, of course, we have this level we've been talking about a lot lately because this is where price action on Bitcoin took a little bit of a respite. The question is, are the bulls charging up? Are they charging up their power? Are they eating all the grass? Are they getting ready to run and attempt this higher level up here? We can even draw this out a bit further like this. I'm just trying to make sure this stays connected here and here and here. Okay, so this level right here, are we going to get this run up here into the almost just shy of $38,000, or are we going to get maybe a liquidity grab to the upside and then a move back down, or are we going to consolidate to the side? Because remember, yes, people hate it when you hear analysts. You want to know what direction the market is. You want it spoon-fed to you. A lot of people do. The truth is it could go up, could go down, could go sideways. So what we want to do is stack the probabilities in our favor. So let's come back over here to the traditional candle chart. Right here, we can see we do have a bull pennant. It was, we had another form of a bull pennant that was invalidated. That's when this was drawn like this. But we can see this still connects very well as a bull pennant. So things change over time and we have to adapt with it, and that's okay. Question is going to be, what direction is this going to go? Or is it just going to do one of these things right here? Because look at this. We had a bull pennant right here. Look at this. Liquidity grab to the upside and then just chop sideways until it ultimately broke down, stair-stepped here, consolidated sideways, and then broke down, lost this level, capitulated to the downside. So what's going on? Well, I want you to also do something that you may or may not have ever done. This is the Bitcoin US dollar chart on Bitstamp, 4-hour candles. Bitcoin does not only trade in US dollars. You could trade it against Ethereum. You could trade it against all, the large majority, if not all, of the altcoin pairs that you're looking at. But you can also come over here and look at where this, let me go to the daily here. And I just want to show you what this looks like, where this price is. See how this price right here is being held under these lows? Now, I want you to understand that countries like India, which have major major adoption. In fact, if we come over here and look at this, let's see, crypto ownership in India. Indians own 7.1% of Indians own cryptocurrency. Now that's, nearly 100 million people. That's a market in and of itself. Many of them may be trading in Bitcoin US dollar pairs, but they're also probably trading in the Indian rupee pair. So it warrants a look at what's going on there. If we come over here and look here, we also see India ranks first in crypto adoption despite regulatory setbacks. India, despite immense regulatory challenges, has secured the top spot in Chainalysis 2023 Global Crypto Adoption Index. We also come over here, we see it's not only India, we have India, Nigeria, Thailand among the top crypto adopters. So we got to keep an eye on some of these things. India being the largest with 100 million people in their populace having exposure to crypto markets. Let's go ahead and look at this. Again, remember, this is below this level. Let's look at the Bitcoin pairing as it relates to the Indian rupee. Look at this. We've broken far beyond this zone, and we are basically attempting this high here. Now, what would that be in US dollar? This would be all the way up to $47,000, $48,000. That does not mean, I just want you all to know, this does not mean because on the Bitcoin to rupee pairing and it's gone up to this level, it does not mean Bitcoin automatically is going to go up to that level. My point here is if there's 100 million people in India that are trading crypto, a lot of them will have exposure to Bitcoin. And we see that this is pushing. This chart looks slightly different than the Bitcoin US dollar pairing. This indicates that there is a huge number of people that are within the global crypto adoption sort of pool, because there's about 450 million people in the world that are, in crypto, have some exposure to crypto or some involvement with it. Well, if 100 million, which basically makes up about 25% of all people that are involved with crypto, see this type of market on their chart because they're looking at it as it relates to Indian rupee, what they're trading against with Bitcoin in India. We see that this is a much stronger market there. So this could, in some aspects, I don't want to say buoy the market, but these considerations have some impact on where price may go because you have 25% of the people globally that are exposed to crypto are looking at this and this looks like it's been very, very, very strong because we have broken these lows, this region. We have broken this region here. This region here, in fact, this region here is that area that they needed to get through. Whereas for us, the area down here, that $25,000 mark on Bitcoin compared to US dollars. And you see, this has been performing much stronger to the Indian rupee. Now, of course, this also has to do with the strength of the Indian rupee itself as well. But this is looking very, very strong. Now, we are seeing some signs of bearishness in terms that doesn't mean it's going to break back down, but it may mean a little bit of lack of follow through right here. But even still, if this were to come back, this is a very small range here. This is about a 10% range for a pullback, 8.5% range to the previous highs, which is likely where things tend to pull back to. Previous high ranges are great areas to look for in very bullish environments, especially if they're in a small region of price movement to get there. This is important to look at. Now look at the money flow here on the daily. Money flow is arcing to the upside. So even on a pullback, there's bullishness coming into the market. Now, on the daily, stochastics are way high. If we look at this down here, stochastics, look over here on the right, you get the percentage point. The stochastics got up to 94%. That's pretty darn high. In fact, it hasn't been this high since March of this year. Let's see where we were at March of this year. March of this year was back here. Now, on this level, strength, this is, quite overheated. But the bulls came in and defended this zone. So what are we going to see here? Let's come back over to the Bitcoin US dollar pairing and take a look at this. Bitcoin US dollar pairing, if we do break out, if this is let's go down to the 4-hour chart. If this does break out to the upside, what can we expect? Well, first off, understand the pattern you're looking at. This is a bull flag. So let's kind of come up here, measure this flagpole, and then this is a pennant. Pennants, flags, they essentially operate the same way. So I basically call them all bull flags. Now we can come like this. You can go from the top of this breakout. I like to go from this bottom line just to give it a little bit more conservative. And we talked about this yesterday. The target here is all the way, it breaches this known level of resistance. This is at 37.6, 37.8, somewhere in this region, but the target goes all the way up here to 40,300. Can we hit 40,300 on this move is the question. Can we hit it at some point? Absolutely. We're not only going to hit it, we are going to crush through it at some point. The question is it now or is it later? As it stands right now, we're out looking at the 4-hour chart. We have a bull pennant, which is a bullish continuation pattern. This is a target to the upside. Do I think it's going to go here? I don't think it's going to go all the way up to 40,000 on the breakout of this move. But I do think if we do get a push to the upside, which looking at all the signals on the chart is starting to look like it's possible. Why? Because we see the momentum has come down and it's not breaching below the zero line. We see the stochastics have come down to a lower low than it was right here. So this means it's getting very oversold and yet the price is still holding up. Consider that. Price it's very oversold, but that oversoldness is still, the bulls are still buoying that price right in this region above the support. We have that means we have a lot of room to run. This means the bears did their darndest. We got the stochastics very low. We got the RSI has come down quite low too, but it's holding somewhere in this 50% region. 50% region is right here, option J. And you can see we're sitting right here. Now, if the RSI comes into this level and look at how this is playing out. RSI loses, look at this, bounces on 50, pushes up, loses 50. If we get a rejection on the RSI here, then we do have a strong potential of moving down lower. We want to see this RSI get back above the 50 line. We see the stochastics are already set up. We do see some money flow slightly diminishing, but it's still very, very positive here on the 4-hour. Got quite a few bullish signals here on the dashboard here on the BitLab TrendView, all part of the BitLab indicator trading stack. If you're interested in these indicators with this BitLab TrendView, this BitLab volume that gives us these order blocks as well as the volume profile and point of control. You can also double click on this, come over here to inputs, show volume data, and we can look at the delta. Is it predominantly buying or selling in this range that we're looking at? You can also see how much buying and how much selling. If you put it on up and down, you see this? This is how many, at each level, how much was bought and sold. You can also look at the delta. I mean, the delta is what we were just looking at, sorry. You can also look at the total of how much was bought and sold without any indication of whether it was buys or sells, just how much volume was traded at each level. And of course, these order blocks are phenomenal. I love these order blocks. So looking at this, actually, I want to come down to the 2-hour. There we go. So you can see very clearly we have this formed. On the 2-hour, we can see quite a bit of these two order blocks directly above us. Now, does this mean it can't get through it? Not necessarily at all. These order blocks are suggesting there's a lot of interest, a large number of clusters of, basically think of it like bigger money, smart money, or just an astronomical number of retail, but a huge cluster of orders at certain price levels that come into the order books back here in previous price action. So we have two order blocks directly above us, as well as this descending level of resistance. And price action is, look at this, it breaks down, finds support here, and now it's being held under this order block, sort of almost like a interest wall. So once we break out of this, it's going to be very interesting to see, is this going to be one of these liquidity grabs back down like this and then up? Is it going to be a push up, find support, and then, testing this region and moving on forward? Or is this price action going to fall down, find support, and come down into this region down here? Well, let's turn on the BitLab intelligence. We can see we got two areas of confluence that are in this zone. We have the weekly VWAP right here, 33,150, 147 more specifically, and this giant order block right here that is all of this area. This means that there's a lot of institutional buys in this area. A lot of orders were in the books. A lot of interest came in, which means we have not only the weekly VWAP. If we are to remain very strong bullishly, we need to see if this does pull back a little bit, holding in this region before moving to the upside, before resolving again to the upside. So we want to pay attention to these things because this is looking very bullish, but this also looks a little bit like a head and shoulders there. So we're getting kind of mixed signals here. I would put more weight into this bull flag, bull pennant that we have structured right here. However, we got to make sure that we are trading smart. We're trading with risk management, and that we are not wanting the price to go up so we forget our strategy. We don't want to do that. We want to make sure our strategy brings in money, not set us up to donate money to smarter people. Now, let's go ahead and zoom out of this really quick. I want to just come over here and look again. A reminder, where are we right now? Where did my OBS go? Just completely, there we go. Where are we right now? Remember, we have this period right here. Let's go back and look at all these other white periods. This period right here would be akin to where we're at right here as it relates to when the halving happens. Now, this was a little bit of a catastrophe. This is a global economic shutdown, but we were starting to push up. We likely would have come back into the zone. We also see back here, push up, and we did come back into a zone. And back here, you know, a push up and back into the zone. So we want to be very careful about what we're expecting price to do between now and the halving. So yes, we can look at the Bitcoin bull flag, but I don't want people to get ahead of themselves and just expect this to go. If somebody's telling you it's about to hit all-time highs before the halving, the only way that I can see that happening is if we get a mass approval of all the Bitcoin ETFs here in the near future. Because it doesn't mean when we get a mass approval, remember this, it also doesn't mean when we get the mass approval of Bitcoin spot ETFs, if that were to come. Remember, it's still an if. There's still a high likelihood that that could be a very strong liquidity event where price action moves very strong and then sells off very strong coming into the halving. There's a lot at play right now. And I don't want you to trade your money away because you're getting far too bullish and trying to catch up with the market, trying to catch up with other people in the market. We all want to grow together. Now, the question is right now, watching this stream, I hope you're all feeling good. Are you feeling grateful for anything right now? Make sure that you do crypto a favor at this moment, right now. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell, join us here in BitLab Academy. Let's continue on with what we're looking at today. Now, I want to come back over to the Indian, basically BTC. You can just type in BTC, BTCINR, that's the Indian rupee. And you can see this chart just to get a gauge of where we're at. We're performing very Bitcoin. I'm saying we are Bitcoin. Bitcoin's performing very well, better than it is against the US dollar on this chart. Now, this doesn't mean we can just throw all of our caution to the wind. It means that there's a basket of things outside of what you may traditionally look at that are also influencing the market. So I want to challenge each and every one of you to look, basically create your basket of analysis, the different tools and the strategies you're utilizing. Try to expand it periodically and pull in different pieces of information and different tools that you're utilizing so that you can build an edge in this, so that you can build an edge in this market that other people are not looking at. That's one of the things that gives you an edge. But even on the Bitcoin Indian rupee chart, we find resistance at the same level. Now, why did I draw it like this? Because I drew this point to this point is where this projected from. Now, did we get a deviation below it? Yes. But then we can also see all the way back up here. This is where we found support and where we broke down, similar to the US dollar. Now, coming back over to the Bitcoin US dollar, looking at where we're at, we are in a very strong price cycle right now in terms of the trend. But I want you to notice something. If we zoom out and look right here, this was very good. Bit of a bull flag-esque type of situation, formation on the chart right here. What happened? Small pullback, liquidity washout to the downside. And this wasn't super small. That was, it was a 5% move. And then it breaks to the upside. So washout to the downside, fooled you, psych, bit. And we move to the upside, find support on this massive descending level of resistance in this falling wedge that we're looking at on Bitcoin. Now we find support, we push up a little higher, get rejected, come back in, find support again. Now this is a careful part we all need to pay attention to. Look at this price action right here. This is a higher, we're getting into the point where we didn't quite get the higher high, but we push up, we get the higher high from the previous high. Now we get a higher low, boom, boom. But then we get a higher high again by a lower low. This is a very big fake out. We did find support here. However, we bounced very strong. Even though we got the lower low, this can be an indication that we're going back down if you get a lower high immediately following it. But in this case, this was a liquidity washout, and we moved to the upside and not only pushed above this previous high, came down and found support above it until we ultimately did trade to the downside. And look at this. Look at where this resolved back down to. Previous high range. So if we can utilize what's going on in the charts and how the price action has interacted in the past, let's actually go out of this chart. I want to come down here to this Bitcoin chart. It's a little bit clearer, a little bit cleaner. I do a lot of different charts with different lines just so I can get different looks and see what I'm looking at. Now, I want to pay attention, remember, to this where we had this low and then a lower low and then exploded to the upside. This is what would be known as a spring. Found support on this previous high. This pushed up. It did not find support on this previous high because we did not even have any, I mean, technically speaking, this is basically a double top because this is so regionally in the same zone of price action. Now, we came down and tested the same low, pushed to the upside where we're at right here. What's going to happen? Are we going to get a liquidity spring to the downside with a deeper low here and then a move to the upside? Or are we going to find support if we do get a pullback? And at some point we will, whether or not we push up from here or pull back from here. At this current point, we want to watch this zone right here. This zone right here is essentially 31.5 to 31.8 sort of zone. So we have this marked out right here. We have this yellow box, and look at what the confluence is in this box. In this box, we have this green order block right here, and this box, this yellow box I put here just based on where these previous highs were. So we can draw this across like this, and you can see that there's an intersection, a confluence of where this previous high was, where there's also a lot of orders here that came in. Now, what's going to happen? Well, looking at the chart again, 4 hour stochastics are basically getting fully reset. We did have a little bit of bearish divergence here, but the underlying strength, the market's starting to get irrational with people speculating on when these spot ETFs are going to happen. And are they even willing to sell? And if they were, all these long-term holders, why would they? Why would they sell right now? Think about it. We had an FGX collapse. We had just cascading liquidations all through here. We had cascading failures within the crypto ecosystem. Then we had the FTX collapse right here. And then we had banks collapse right here. And then we had, you know, the stories are never ending. And the number of long-term holders hitting its all-time high, and they haven't sold through any of this nonsense, why would they sell anywhere right here before the spot ETF and before the halving? So the market is getting stronger and stronger by the day in terms of the maturity of those involved in the market. Let's see, got any comments in the chat right now? Any thoughts, any questions? Let's go ahead while I'm thinking about that. Let's come over here to Ethereum. Let's see how our girl Ethereum is doing. In the zone, Jones. Let's look at this. You know what we're going to do? We're going to go to remove drawings. Now we're going to zoom out, and we're just going to look at the price action chart. Now look at this right here, option J. Now look, option T gives us that. We got a bit of an ascending triangle here. This is very bullish for Ethereum. Eventually, this may reject here, come back down, reject in this zone, and then push up into the zone. But this is a level that we're looking at, 2100. A 2100 mark, 2000 to 2126, somewhere in this zone. We can actually even come over here. I like to not do boxes now that we have all these order blocks, but this gives us regionally, because you see this rejection here on the bottom side, rejection on the bottom side, rejection here on the top. This is the zone we're watching for. For me, I'm not worried about missing this zone right here. I'm not worried. I don't need to get every percentage point because it puts me at a higher percentage point of risk trying to jump in on everything. I don't need to absolutely hop in here to catch this before this rockets up. I can use this time right here as a confirmation of the bullish strength. I want this to break above this order block, test this region, and move up, maybe find some support and trade that instead. But things are looking up for Bitcoin. If we come over here to Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now with Ethereum, look at this. We saw, this is on the daily. What's a 4-hour show? 4-hour shows. Okay. 4-hour shows. Look at this. We got still, oops. We still have positive money flow. This is the blue. We still have, we have the stochastics. Stochastics coming quite low. Not as low as they were seeing on Bitcoin, but this is roughly a little bit higher low. You can see this. This is the previous low on stochastics. Looks like it's going to try to find some support here. Maybe a bounce or a continuation on Ethereum is in store. It's going to largely follow the lead of what happens with Bitcoin over the next couple days. Watch out for liquidity grab moves over the weekend. There's fewer people in the market. Big money, smart money, and institutional money tends to, I don't want to say abstain from trading, but there's a lot lower volume historically on the weekends. And so there can be false moves, not to mention the fact that you can have gaps in the CME futures chart. So Bitcoin futures. And if you get a gap, those gaps tend to fill. If this does push up to the upside over the weekend, and then the market opens and the price is up here, or up here, then you have this, for instance, let me show you what I'm talking about. Say the market closes with the price right here, and then the market opens back up. I'm talking specifically for CME futures. Actually, let's go off this chart. My apologies. I thought we were back on Bitcoin. And say the market closes right here. Let's say the market closes right there, opens back up here, or anywhere up here on Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Well, then that would mean that you have a gap through all of this between there, and there's a high likelihood the price action at some point is going to come back and flush out the liquidity in this area, clear it, since there is since there's a gap there in the price action. So what I like to see on weekends, and people that really need something happen don't like this, I like the market to be as boring as it can be on the weekends, other than if price action drops on the weekend down here, and say it closes here and it opens back up and the price is down here, and then you have a large order block above you, order gap. So then that acts as a magnet to potentially come back up, but you have to watch for a retest in this region and then getting shot back down. But either way, I like price action to be boring on the weekend so that we can resume healthy price action, when the markets open back up for the futures traders. Now, if I had to guess which way this is going to go, my guess would be that this may get a liquidity washout, liquidity event, meaning price action does break, the top resistance of this order flag. Let's go to, there we go. So if this is a bull pennant, bull flag, go like that, bastard, like this. If this does break to the upside, I see a very high likelihood that we'll push up into this region somewhere, maybe even barely, and then reverse and come back down and then clear out that liquidity, test the strength of the bulls, and then have that continuation to the upside. But remember, there's so much going on right now in the world. There's so much going on in the Middle East. There's so much going on with, presidential election seasons coming up. So much going on with the state of the economy. Saw Google drop like 12% the other day with so much just confusion and nothing to look left to on the charts for a lot of this traditional asset stuff and monetary policy and FOMC meetings. Be careful right now. We're still pre-halving. You're not missing anything, even if you just let some of this noise clear. If you're an active trader on the daily, scalping, or just doing, multi-day swing trades, then remember to take profits along the process and rotate that capital back into new trades or into other assets or into your long-term portfolio. But I love you all. I appreciate y'all. I'll be doing some TA here in a few minutes over on Discover Crypto. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that, subscribe button. Ding the bell. Join us here in the BitLab family. Get involved with BitLab Academy. Join us over here. If you like the indicators we're using, come down to BitLab Trading Stack. You can still use Give Me 30 for 30% off your first month. And that's all I got. I love you very much. Make sure you get They got the dogs, and there you go. Make sure you get involved in the BitLab Discord. We have a free section as well, but I mean, there's so many great people posting so many great charts and thoughts and setups, and from stocks to macro stock news to alts and spot picks to gems to scalps. There's so much going on in here. I love you all. I appreciate you. Get involved with BitLab Academy. I'll see you. Have a wonderful weekend. We have an interview coming out tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Going to be with Joshua Jake. Great discussion about what's going on with the market. Will there be an alt season? And a lot other talking points in that video. So I hope to see you there. Adios, muchachos. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always tuning in. Hit that like button, sucker.